Rich, this is a video of your petting stroke at the start of the program. So, as I said during the lesson, your body lines are open. Okay, your toe line, your hips, your shoulders are all open. Okay, so that promotes. Typically, the club head moves along parallel to your toe line, so that promotes kind of taking it back outside and dragging it across inside on the follow through, which was your stroke before you worked on it. Okay, now the back swing is not as bad as it was. As a matter of fact, it's pretty good. But here's the problem: when with this time you're open like about, I don't know, 15 degrees, 20 degrees. Sometimes you're open 10, sometimes 30. There's no way of knowing exactly what is right, okay? If you have your body lines parallel to the target line, or the start line, you'll always know if you're squared up, okay? Another thing that's causing inconsistency is, see how in this picture your eye line is about, I don't know, 3 inches inside the ball. Okay, the second video looked like you're 1.5 inches inside the ball. So that causes a different or more inconsistencies. Also, when you're inside the ball, you look at the target, you have a misconception of what the target line is. Okay, take for extreme, if your eyes were clear out here, looking back at a big angle. Anyway, so I recommend getting your eyes right over the ball. You can test it just by moving your head over the ball, then back, and then gradually you can tell by your vision whether your eyes are directly over the ball or not. Okay, so I would correct those things. And next thing is, okay, so here's the stroke. See, even as you can't really see here. Okay, so the stroke goes back. This is better than it ever has been. Okay, so see how it's slightly inside pathwise. I can tell the club face, the putter face is too open, too even to the arc, but better than it was. Okay, so good grades on the backswing. On the downswing, you come through and you hit towards the toe of the club. See that right there? Not terribly close. So just that distance from the center of the club face, putter face, is going to cause you some problems. Okay, so on this putt, it stays on the line, so at the exact moment of impact, the club head was square to the path, which is also square to the target line at that time. Then you drag it inside and hold it here. Way better than it was 3 weeks ago. Okay. And we talked about the body movement. There's a little camera movement, so I can't tell. The body looks pretty still, but the head is following the ball. Okay, so I just, as I said, make setup changes and work a little more on the proper swing path. In this case, the face angle was fine. In the second one from down the line, it wasn't as good. Okay, so from face on, okay, we need to straighten up the alignment. So all the great putters have a little wider stance than that. That's kind of like a chipping stance. And so I suggest you widen your stance to about the width of your shoulders. And that'll help you in the wind. It gives you better balance and things like that. So, and the ball, the putter face should be in the middle of the stance. So that puts the ball, an inch and a half in front of the middle of your stance. And the middle of the stance is where you where you have the optimal face loft. Okay, take it to extreme way up in front, then you're actually de-lofting the club and driving the ball into the ground. I'm sorry, you're adding loft and you're getting it airborne. Okay. So anyway, let's get back to the middle of the stance and see the putter isn't symmetric. Okay, so I like it to here, but I like it to stop here and hold the follow through. See, at this point, that face angle looks pretty damn good. Okay. Now, two things we noticed were that the shaft should be pointed to your sternum, which is the red circle. Okay, the entire trip. Okay, so when you take it back, I drew this first green line. So to get it pointed at your left pec, you've kind of manipulated your hands and changed the angle of the hands. Arms to shaft. Okay, and this is minor, but still it's important. Okay, and then when you come through, see it's pointed at your sternum, and then on the follow through, you see it's pointed across like that. So that's where I recommend, putting that stick between the putter head and your belly, so that it's pointed at your sternum throughout the whole trip. That'll give you what dead hands feel like. Okay. The second thing, which seems minor, is so you're watching the ball, but watch your head reverse out of it. So see the red cross is right at the peak of your head, and as you go back, okay, see now the head, and as you come forward, it's okay. Then as the head comes back, see, watch the head move off that X. See that reverse out of it. See, the head moves back like 2 inches, 3 inches. So that adds loft. And then at the same time, you move off of it, back out of it with your head, and then you watch the ball. And when we miss a putt, we start watching the ball earlier. So you're basically building in a peak. But I think this backing out of it is because you want to watch the ball go in. So the vision you want is you're looking at the ball, you stroke it, you look at the spot under the ball before you even look up. Okay, all the pros do this. Okay, so those are the only small changes, and most of them are in setup. Which is easy to do because it's a static position, right? You can do it in a mirror. You can do it anytime to check it's not like a mid-swing correction. So easy to change. The only thing in the middle of the movement is, work more on face angle and path, and shorten your swing, make it symmetric, and keep the club pointed at the suspension point.